Deflecting it beautifully is Trubisky into the hands of Robinson. And he's across midfield all the way up to the 45-yard line. Bears have met 6 times in an NFL championship game. Bears won 4-6 and the ball is loose. And the Bears have recovered it. Stripped out of there by Khalil Mack. And then Nick Williams able to get it down inside the 5-yard line. High snap, Trubisky on the keeper will find the end zone. That is his first rushing touchdown since November of last year.
To start off, obviously, again, a win is always nice. That's what we're looking for, and they're hard to come by in this league, and our guys did that. They going into halftime down 7-3, it challenges you again offensively, just with some of the struggles there. But then coming back out, and I think now for several games in a row now, we've been able to come out and be efficient in that third quarter and put up points. So I was happy with that. You could kind of feel the game turn right there with the defense getting stops, offense scoring. But then we'd like to finish there at the end with being able to, hold that 4th and 18 play for the touchdown that they had, and then offensively get that 4-minute offense where you get that first down on 3rd and 1 and get some stuff going. So we'll grow off of it. We won't have much time to look at it. Coaches and players, we're moving right on because we got such a short week.
Yeah, you got such a short week. There's no question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of this pregame show.
Postgame.
Excuse me, postgame.
It's pregame for Thursday.
Yeah, it is pregame. That's what Matt Nagy's throwing me a curveball. Welcome to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting live from the studios of WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful neighborhood of Jefferson Park in the beautiful city of Chicago. Jerry Riles, along with the gang, ladies and gentlemen, our Bears, our Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday Live post-game show, 820 AM WCPT. And let's get right to our esteemed panel, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. He's the Italian Stallion. He's DC. He's in the studios. He's Dan Carlino. What's up, Danny?
Good evening, Jerry. Glad to have everyone here with us. We got a packed house here today. I think we have 8 in the box. We're playing.
Hey, we're going in the box, baby.
Almost literally, I believe.
Yeah.
But this is one of those games that that after the Bears went through their losing streak, looking forward, that I thought they were going to win. So I don't know how. Like Coach Nagy said, it's hard to win in this league, even against a 2-8 team that's lost 6 in a row coming in.
Unbelievable.
A team that has Saquon Barkley and a bunch of guys in blue hats. Outside of that, and even he had his mistakes. He had a 3rd down catch that was in his hand that if he would have caught it, he'd still be running. But things. That's why they were 2-8, now 2-9.
Unbelievable.
I told you it was going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
But the uniforms are going to look nice.
They certainly
that's what
did.
happened.
They certainly did. And ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's not pitching for the Chicago Cubs. He's not even pitching for the Los Angeles Angels with Joe Madden. He might be scouting the Chicago White Sox to see if he can dig over there. Ladies and gentlemen, he's known as the Marvelous One. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Marver?
Hey, Jerry. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
The Sox seem to be giving away money. I might be interested.
No, Jerry Reinsdorf does not give away any money.
Not give away, but signing people.
Yeah, he's not giving away any money. They're signing some folks, but you better believe Jerry Reinsdorf and the family are looking at the they're looking at the pocketbook for sure.
We were just talking about that with the former Bulls coach. Now he's at Nebraska. They're still paying him too. But in any event, let's not get too giddy about the 1914 win over the worst team. Over the worst team in the NFC. I heard one pundit say it said the dreaded wild card word to run the table.
What, wild card in baseball?
Yeah, the only problem with that is they went on to say that they have the tiebreaker over Philadelphia, which of course is not true.
I want to introduce you.
That was their main argument, actually.
Introduce you to DJ Dan Marver. Yeah. He's going to be he's going to be spinning at the Club Dub. I don't think so.
Yeah, so let's not get too giddy. It's a short week, and they're in Detroit on Thursday, so we'll see what happens. But I don't think it's time for the wild card talk yet.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
1914, the Bears winners over the New York Giants, the football New York Giants, over at Soldier Field this afternoon. And hey, man, a win is a win. And we want to say Gabe Salgado is in studio. He'll be delivering our TRS60 scoreboard updates at the bottom and the top of the fastest hour in sports conversation. Gabe is back off of vacation. He was nursing a little bit of a little illness, but hopefully Gabe will be okay and ready to go and firing on all cylinders. Scoreboard update at the bottom and the top of the fastest hour in sports conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to say, we're pleased to add on an addition to the Rewind Sports 60 and our Bears post game show, sponsored by Gale Street Inn here in Jefferson Park. Former Bear himself, safety,
Quintin Demps, baby.
10-year veteran in the National Football League.
Yes,
in our
sir.
studios, Quintin Demps in studio to break
Thanks
down
for
the Bear
having
game.
me,
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm doing well. Thanks
You're
for
looking
having me,
good,
man.
brother. And I
appreciate
tell
it.
you, some point in time, we wish that you could suit up and get back out there and play some football as well. Come on, man.
No way.
Yeah, Quintin Demps will be joining us every Sunday here in the studios and on location, wherever we are, to talk some Bear football. And, of course, we'll throw in some sports conversation with him as well. But we appreciate you agreeing to jump on board with us and joining the team, man.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I like this kind of stuff.
There you go. We love
Talk
it
some
ourselves,
ball,
man.
baby.
We love it ourselves.
Yeah, let's talk some ball.
Certainly. So what did you think about the 1914 victory, the Chicago Bears improving their record?
You know me, I'm a former player, man. So a win is a win, and I think you can't. It's not wild card time, but hey, any given Sunday you can win or lose, and we won this Sunday, so it's highlights.
Well, you know what? The interesting thing about it, any
celebration.
given Sunday you can win or lose. We've chose a lot of Sundays to lose.
I know, right? Well, you don't choose them. You got to out execute it.
Yeah, well,
Well,
that's what the fans want to hear. Those highlights were courtesy of Fox Television, Channel 32 locally, and of course Tommy Brenneman and Chris Spillman on the call. The Bears with the 1914 victory. Quintin, you played in the league for 10 years, man, and I mean, you know the ins and outs, and you shared some insight with us at Serenillo's yesterday during our Saturday tailgate show. Said you could tell a lot about a football team by just observing the sideline and what's going on. As far as this Bears team is concerned, there's a lot of appear to be confusion, dissension. And although the fact that these, Matt Nagy continues to say, "Hey, we got each other's back," Mitchell Trubisky says the same thing. We got each other's back. We're gonna look at it. Blah 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 blah. How do you address this game regarding what we just witnessed when the Bears just eked out? Really, they eked out a victory against the lowly New York Giants. Because if they make their 2 field goals, people want to Carlino, they want to give Eddie Pinheiro a bad time because of his struggles.
He missed today too, right?
Yeah,
missed
he
point
did.
after,
Oh, point after, extra point.
Dude,
But his point after was further back than the 2 field goals
it
because of
was
all the
a
penalties.
48-yard.
Point after.
A 48-yard PA, dude, because of the blunder and the confusion on the sideline from Matt Nagy.
Right.
But how do you explain to the fan base that any given Sunday, and you can win, but to only score 19 points against this defense, and allow them to get 14 points, and again, they make 2 field goals.
Right.
It's a 20-19 game.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to the fan base that this team it's okay?
Yeah, well, it's like I said, man, it's a win. Like we can't go into too much into like the ifs and what could have, the score and all that kind of stuff, man. At the end of the day, it's 19-14. The Bears won, and this is the time of year right now, right around Thanksgiving, where teams got to come together, stay together, get behind the quarterbacks, through the ups and downs, and really find out who you are right now. This is the time right now to see what the Bears are going to be about these next few games. And today was a start for me. Like, to me, it was a start for them to be like, okay, look, let's get it together. We've been going through some things, but like we can still do this. It's a good win for them to get some momentum going for the rest of the season.
So is that coaches talk? That's player talk? Is that just
that's like a GM, general manager talk? You know what I mean? Like just trying to be optimistic about everything. And just like it's a long season, man. The league is set up to go 8-8 anyway. Like half the bottom of the teams are like 5-6, 6-5, right?
Right.
So this is the home stretch right here, man. Everybody knows, like if you're a veteran in the league, like right around Thanksgiving, man, it's where you're gonna find out who's the real football players, who the real teams are, who's playing complimentary football every Sunday. Special teams, defense, offense, putting it together and getting ugly wins.
And it's good that you bring that point up because many people may not be familiar or aware with that. But I mean, we've seen it in the past with this New York Football Giant team. How Eli Manning over the past years they would struggle out of the block, but by week 8, 9, 10. They started putting things together. The same thing with the New England Patriots, throughout their illustrious runs of year in and year out. Some years, Tom Brady, and they would start out sluggish, but between week 8 and week 10,
is where you
they would start putting things together.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing for this team, and Danny Carlino, marvelous one, you guys jump in as well. The unfortunate thing about this team is it seems, again, to me, they shouldn't be struggling against a lowly Giants team at home, especially based off what they, coming off the Ram game. They should not be struggling. They should have handled this team easily, to be honest with you. Because a lot of people say, hey, we have the talent. We have the skill set. It's just the play calling and the execution portion of it. So this is a game that they really needed to. And again, Quintin, you say, hey, a win is a win. But a win is a win. But I think fans are looking for a trend of winning. A trend, a win. Exactly.
Well, Quentin's got, because he's been in the trenches, so he knows what's what and what it takes to get results, play to play. Forget the whole game and then looking at the whole season. But you do, when you analyze the game, you got to kind of look at those things. What does the game look like? What does that portend when you play somebody who's a little bit better? And that's been the issue. Dan and I were talking a little bit, and I heard the statistics quoted that this was only the second time the entire offense all year got over 300 yards. So, in this day and age, with the way the rules are and the types of offense we're playing, and Matt Nagy's supposed to be pretty good with this whole offensive thing, coming out of Kansas City, learning from Andy Reid to have only 300 yards of offense twice. And they've had they haven't had the toughest part of their schedule yet, as far as their opponents, really. So to have that happen, that's the trend when you forecast it forward to the teams they have to play still. That's what kind of gives you a little bit of the wet blanket. Right. And also you always got to look at there's always some plays that are missed during the game, and he had a couple interceptions. He almost had a couple more red zone ones as well to go along with the one he had. So those are the things that I think give people a little bit pause that it was kind of turning on a dime a little bit, this game, when it really shouldn't have been. You're not going to expect 50 points, no matter what. But if we're going to have more than 19, this was one of the games you should have had.
Guys, there has been a pattern. They start out slow. 9 of the first 11 times they had the ball, they were unsuccessful in doing very much, and the other one was an interception and and a punt. So it's hard to really figure that out. The third quarter has been what has been the blessing for them coming out of the locker room.
Yeah,
every third quarter they seem to come to life a little bit. So maybe they should pretend that it's halftime at the beginning.
Well, can they get the scoreboard guy to put a 3 in there for quarter?
we talk about coaching though, but so that can be like a some points for Nagy, because going into halftime, you got to come in and make adjustments. So if they're coming out in third quarter every game, then that says something about coaching too. Like, we at least we're making a good adjustments to it, for what's going on in the first half. You know what I mean? So credit to Nagy and the coaching staff. What
are your thoughts on Matt Nagy and should he be the play caller for this football team? Because I think Tommy Brenneman and Chris Spillman both kind of alluded to the fact during the broadcast that, maybe he needs to turn over the responsibility, to the offensive coordinator, because it'll give him a better opportunity to coach the entire team, that being defense and, of course, the special teams. But if he's focusing and concentrating too much on the offensive side of the ball, he's going to lose something in the other two aspects of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's his strength. Like, we all know that he's an offensive guru, and like you said, being under
he's a what?
Offensive guru. Like being under Andy Reid, he knows some stuff about offense.
Yeah,
he's laughing.
Let me tell you something.
He might not have the personnel to do what he wants to do on the field, so it could be affecting his play calling. He might not have Mitchell is not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
For real?
No.
Get out of here.
No. and like, I haven't been watching as much, but I kind of watched today. And what I noticed about Mitchell is, like, he has to scramble. Like, he has to use his legs more.
Right.
Like, he has to not be afraid to get out and run.
Well, that's partly because I think coming from the general manager and coming from the head coach, and we saw this last year, Danny Carlino, the effectiveness that Mitchell Trubisky had, and everyone talked about his athleticism, and of course the 12-4 record is because Mitchell was using his legs more last year.
Yeah.
And I think during that off season, I think Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy say, hey, we want you to be more of a pocket quarterback,
right?
And learn how to read the defenses, because you're not going to be able to run. You talk about a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he's not going to be able to continuously run for the rest of his career.
Right.
Eventually, he's going to have to learn how to read defenses, and that's his big.
Yeah,
that's the big issue with him.
Right? You think so?
I know so.
No, it can't be that. I think it's maybe too much of the offense.
Do you think
I don't think he's mastered the offense. I think because I know Andy Reid, the stuff is like crazy,
right?
And I think Nagy may be trying to keep things simple to help Trubisky, right, and play to his strengths. And I think Trubisky just had to take over as a quarterback, as a leader, and be like, look, I don't care about 10 years from now. Right now, I got to use my legs, because even when you see him lose his legs, like, it gives him confidence for next plays.
True. When
he gets those first downs, and he got to stay in that zone to where, like, I'm confident. You know, like, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Because you see him a couple of bad plays, and he'll get down on himself. You know, he'll lose confidence. So he has to do, like, play to his strengths, run if he has to, and you know, just keep being confident. Stuff.
No, he actually, I think he said that he needs to, the 2-minute drill that they run, because it's being bang bong, and they're keeping defenses off balance. Yeah. And he does feel more comfortable running that type of offense, because he has the capability of scrambling if he can't find his. And there were a couple instances, Danny Carlino, where the play kind of like broke down.
And the ball for a month in his hand.
Dude, like, exactly.
Quintin was in the end zone. And I'm like, I would just get out of there so I don't get a holding in the end zone and give up a safety, you know?
I'm yelling at the TV, and I'm getting real nervous, because if he holds the ball past 2.5 seconds, it's a disaster.
It was at least 4.5 seconds. He had maybe 5. I mean, I'm timing it with a sundial, for God's sake. But I think Quintin has a point. I mean, and the front office have a point too, as far as, you know, don't rely on your legs. But then again, it may make it easier for him to dissect the defense at a certain point when they got on their heels, thinking he may run. And also, they've been horrible on third downs all year, and that's where you can. We're talking about keeping your defense fresh and getting their defense run down. You know, when a play breaks down like that, and he can break for those 5 or 6 or maybe 10 yards if it's there, and get that first down. I mean, that's just like if you get a holding penalty on the third down, man. It's new life.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it also gives him confidence too that he did something.
Yeah. No, I get it, but they want to protect him. And speaking of protection, did it look like he was suffering from a hip pointer, a hip flexor from last week?
No, not at all.
He's a quick healer.
Yeah.
He's
still young. He's a young man.
Right, but that was what I was going to bring up. Maybe if that was true, that's why he wouldn't be so anxious to run. But allegedly, that's why he was pulled from the game last Sunday night.
Yeah.
Quintin, do you believe that he suffered a hip flexor?
No, I don't believe that. I'm calling BS on it. I think it was just tempers. I think it was like, as a human, Nagy's probably like, man, he's getting on my nerves. Let me sit his ass down. Sorry, excuse me. But like,
it's real sports, real talk, just playing real.
But like, so just like being, having politics involved, you gotta say that. They weren't even on the same page when they asked about it, right?
They weren't on the same page.
So that right there goes to show that something's going on.
Which is kind of bad, because and again, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth last week, they were doing the Sunday night game, and immediately when you saw Matt Nagy talking to Mitchell Trubisky on the sideline, and then he didn't come out, and Chris, what's his kid's name, Daniel? Chase Daniel. I said Chris Daniels because my buddy's brother's name is Chris Daniels. So, but Chase Daniel, he I think he was drinking a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and he got his name called. He's like, "Oh man, I got
in the back having a smoke." What
y'all calling me, man?
but to try to hoodwink, to me, the fan base and everybody on national television when you're watching. Dude, you really shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then you get your players.
In hockey, it's an upper body injury.
I would take that. I would take that. Yeah, he suffered a lower body. I would take that. But to try to hoodwink us and to tell us all this stuff, and then the next thing you know, on Wednesday, I thought he was Fred Astaire, man. His footwork up at Hallis Hall. It's like, dude, what happened? But seriously, if he suffered from a hip flexor or a hip pointer, how long would it take for him to recuperate and get back out there?
No, those things aren't that bad. You could practice on Wednesday, full speed, like a little ice, a little healing. You know what I'm saying? So it could have had some truth to it too, but I don't think that was the whole sole purpose of him getting pulled. I think it had something to do with, like, look, man, let's wake up a little bit.
It would be, for whatever the criticisms you can have of Trubisky, would you consider, for that kind of injury, to take out your starting quarterback when you're you're trying to win the game?
Wait, was the game close?
Dude, it was 3:28 left in the game.
And so what was the score?
What was it?
Was it already 14-3?
It was it 20-13 still? Was it 20-13? And they were trying
last week with the Rams. because that game finished
when they took him out. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
was
17
over.
to 7.
17
17 to
that's
7.
right.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at
it wasn't a one-score game.
I'm looking
but
at the
still,
Lion game.
you try
17 to 7.
Try to get a quick score and whatever. It's still something
Yeah.
you would be kind of.
No, I think they gave up.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's kinda sad, too, huh?
Nagy wasn't looking to give up.
Yeah.
He was giving up on Mitchell Trubisky. And he thought that Chase Daniel would be able to come in and move the offense and execute them.
Get a spark going.
Yeah,
Okay.
get a quick score, try to get the ball back and come away with the victory. That was Matt Nagy's thought. And when he was whispering to Trubisky on the sideline, and he had the his little play card, and he was covering his face like this.
His Denny's menu?
Because allegedly Mitchell was crying.
Yeah.
That he was pulled. And so afterwards, it didn't work, of course.
Right.
So afterwards, Matt Nagy addressed the media and said, hey, he suffered, a hip flexor, hip wound, right?
Yeah.
But it happened the series before he was pulled.
Right.
In the fourth quarter.
Right.
And then Mitchell Trubisky comes out minutes later and he addresses the media and say, oh, yeah, I suffered the injury toward the end of the second quarter.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I went into at halftime, it was evaluated.
Yeah.
But Matt Nagy didn't tell us that it was evaluated.
Right.
So we got two different stories going on here.
Yeah.
And it just blew up
It was
locally and nationally.
It was retroactively looked at there.
Yeah. And then, the next day they get on the same page and, give us all this,
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah, well, we don't know how it goes.
Keep the heat out the kitchen, man. Keep the heat out the kitchen.
Yeah, well,
Best way we can.
good. Congratulations to the Bears getting a victory against the New York Giants today. 19-14 was the final. It could have been a lot uglier. And again, for this football team to only be able to put up 19 points on the board against a lowly New York Giants team and allow them to score 14 points, it doesn't say much for Matt Nagy. And you talk about the personnel, it doesn't say much for what's going on as far as the Bears are concerned. And as far as the concern is, it gets a little bit tougher now because they take on Detroit in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, 11:30 kickoff. And, of course, then
Wait a minute, though.
What?
Detroit lost to Washington today.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
Hey, in the NFC,
Carlino, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, the Raiders beat the Bears, and they just got blown out by the Jets. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure your confidence pool isn't as good as it was last week. That's what it means.
Isn't.
Okay, then.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Hey, folks, if you want to join in, give us a call. Our number here is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. This is our Gale Street and Bears Sunday Live post game show, WCPT 8:20 a.m. We're going to take a short time out with our Gabe Salgado, our TRS60 scoreboard update. When we come back, more Bears conversation. Keep it locked in. Gabe Salgado, take it away.
TRS60 Sports Update.
It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win, right? The Bears got back in the win column with today's 19-14 win over the 2-9 New York Giants at Soldier Field today. The Bears overcame a couple of turnovers and sloppy play on both sides as Mitchell Trubisky threw for 278 yards, scored a couple of touchdowns, and got a turnover and sack from his defense. But now the Bears have a short week ahead of them as they'll travel to Detroit for Thanksgiving. Speaking of Detroit, and you heard Danny Carlino mention this, the Lions lost to Washington today 19-16. The Minnesota Vikings are on a bye week, and the Green Bay Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers tonight in this week's edition of Sunday Night Football. The Blackhawks have now lost 3 consecutive games after last night's loss on the road in Dallas. They fell to the Stars 2-1 in a shootout. The Hawks did pick up a point, however, because the game went into extras, and they're off until Tuesday when they host the same Dallas Stars at the United Center. The Bulls, on the other hand, they won 2 of their last 3, and they'll welcome the Portland Trailblazers to the UC tomorrow night. And the latest AP college football poll that was released today, the top 5 remains the same, with LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama occupying those spots. But Utah moved to number 6. Oklahoma now sits at number 7, with the rest of the top 10 being rounded out by Florida, Minnesota, and Michigan. The next set of college football playoff rankings will be revealed on Tuesday. This update is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, MBF, empowering the next generation of leaders. Go over to monstereducationfoundation.org to learn more. I'm Gabe Salgado for the Rewind Sports 60 and WCPT 820 Chicago.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
The Rewind Sports 60 is brought to you by the Liquor Barn, located in Wheeling and Niles. Stop by 287 East Dundee Road in Wheeling or 8170 Gulf Road in Niles for all your wine and spirits needs. The Liquor Barn, located in Wheeling and Niles. And remember, tell Marcel and Tom in Wheeling that the Rewind Sports 60 told you to stop in and say hello. Mention the Rewind Sports 60 and receive a free gift.
Go, Ella!
Way to hustle, Jen.
Our daughters live for sports.
Hey, their dentist told them your smallest piece of equipment may be your most important.
Now they always wear mouth guards.
Yeah, mouth guards help protect against broken teeth, head injuries too, like concussions.
All from a little mouth guard.
They're small, but mighty.
Just like our kids.
Talk to a Chicago Dental Society dentist. Visit cds.org/mouthguard. Sponsored by the Chicago Dental Society, aired in cooperation with this station.
The Rewind Sports 60 is brought to you by Serenello's Ristorante Italiano. Inspired by his travels and passion for Italy's culture, executive chef Michael Bonner has created a broad menu of Italian fare, utilizing the freshest ingredients to create the fullest flavors to bring homemade, handcrafted pizzas and pastas, as well as prime steaks and fresh fish dishes to the table. Feel the energy while dining in a casual and rustic setting. Dine at natural reclaimed wood tables surrounded by inviting darker woods, exposed brick beams, subtle filament lighting, and accented with muted chocolate and caramel tones throughout. An impressive 50-foot bar lines an entire wall with seating for all. The perfect place to relax, eat, and drink with your family and friends. Serenello's Ristorante Italiano is located at 601 North Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling. Tell them the Rewind Sports 60 told you to stop by.
Hi, I'm Liz Nicholson Sullivan. As the wife of a 9-year NFL veteran suffering the long-term effects of untreated and undiagnosed head injuries, I know how dangerous concussions can be. The Concussion Legacy Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to keeping kids safe in sports. Their Team Up, Speak Up program teaches kids to speak up to a coach or athletic trainer if they think their teammate might have a concussion. Whether you're a parent, coach, or athlete, you can make a difference. Join me and sign up at teamupspeakup.org.
The Rewind Sports 60 is sponsored by Bazaar World. Stop by Bazaar World in Niles, celebrating their grand opening with a huge sale. Hats, gloves, belts, rings, bracelets, necklaces, and much, much more. The largest jewelry and accessory store in the Chicagoland area. Bazaar World, located at 8526 West Gulf Road in Niles, near the corner of Milwaukee and Gulf. Bazaar World in Niles. Stop in and say hello to Alex. Mention the Rewind Sports 60 and receive a free gift.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
High snap, Trubisky on the keeper will find the end zone. That is his first rushing touchdown since November of last year. Bears have met 6 times in an NFL championship game. Bears went 4-6 and the ball is loose. And the Bears have recovered it. Stripped out of there by Khalil Mack. And then Nick Williams able to get it down inside the 5-yard line.
Happy we won, but it's not good enough. Not nearly good enough from this offense, from myself. Can't have the turnovers. Got to be better on third down. Got to be better in the red zone. So enjoy the win, but quick turnaround this week, obviously, playing on Thursday. So we just got to find ways to get better and improve and quit making mistakes, especially myself. You always try to have that resiliency. No matter what happens, it's just you and your boys out there. So you're never out of the fight. Just keep battling. Bad things are going to happen, but you can overcome them with good things if you just stick together and believe in the plan.
You know what? Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday Live post game show right here at WCPT 820 AM. Carlino, we're on our post-game show. Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion, a marvelous one, Dan Marver, and of course a new addition to the Rewind Sports 60, our post-game show. Quintin, Demps, a former Bears safety, 10-year veteran in the National Football League, joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. But Carlino, you're a pretty smart guy.
Oh, no, God. You're going to set me up to fail now, man.
Oh, man. No, man. And I mean, I'm guessing English was, you're a pretty good, student in English and everything.
I don't know if it's a good guess or
I don't
not,
know if
but
he
go
took
ahead.
speech or anything like that. Do they have classes, anything for like cliches?
We had them all.
I hate cliches.
That was like this week's vocabulary words in our English class. Use them all in a sentence.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. And Quintin, you played in the league again for 10 years. Marvelous one. You're a very astute individual. But it seemed like a prerequisite. Is that how you say it? Prerequisite?
Yeah.
To get it seemed as if that in order to get a head coaching position here in the city of Chicago and to play for these coaches that are hired here in the city of Chicago, that you have to take a class in cliches. Because, and congratulations to the Chicago Bulls with a fantastic victory last night against the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte, 116-115. An incredible performance by guard Zach LaVine. 49 points.
49?
13 three-pointers. He went berserk. He went berserk.
He went Reggie Miller on us.
He went Reggie Miller on it was outstanding performance. But
you said he wasn't a superstar, man. That's superstar.
I said he was an all-star.
Right.
That's an all-star.
Okay.
I'll
take that.
Hey, Quintin Demps. If he does that the rest of the year, he'll be a superstar. That's Steph Curry territory.
Gotcha.
If he does that the rest of the year, I'm calling him a superstar for sure. Unbelievable. But I say that because it seems like whether it was Jim Boylan with the Bulls or Matt Nagy with the Bears, I'm not sure. The jury is still out on Jeremy Colleton as far as the Blackhawks are concerned.
Hockey has different cliches, eh?
Yeah, they certainly do.
They speak Canadian.
and we don't know about David Ross as far as the Cubs are concerned, and Ricky Rennery. Oh, jeez.
He makes a good case, though.
Oh, jeez. But
I mean,
all these cliches, Well, I got my back. I got my boys back, and we're gonna play hard, and I gotta make mistakes. Well, Dave make mistakes, but I gotta get out there, and we're gonna come back next week. Again, Quintin, you've been in the locker room, you've been on the field, you've been in film study, you've been in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Does the cliches? First of all, do they drive you crazy being a former player?
It does. Even just that's why I want to get into radio when I'm done, because I'm tired of being politically correct, right? I want to just tell the truth, and but it's just it's all pro sports though. You gotta sugarcoat. You gotta, say the right things at the right time. You can't.
Why?
I mean, you don't have to.
But why? Why?
You don't have to. It's just more professional to. You see, because when you do it like Marshawn Lynch, you become unprofessional and you look terrible. And Marshawn Lynch, he's gonna tell you how it is, right?
Right.
So, but I liked it though. Right.
Well, we all do.
Or he won't say anything at all.
Or he won't say anything at all.
Right. He's eating his Skittles by himself.
He's gonna get fined to say what he really wants to say.
Right.
So you gotta be professional and say what's politically correct. So that's why I'm at the point now. I wish I did it too.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to say stuff like, "Oh yeah, man, we had a good game. I made some mistakes, and we're just gonna keep fighting." Nah, man, we suck.
I was gonna say it's because of the era. I don't think that George Halas had press conferences after every game. And I'm sure he seemed like a pretty grumpy guy. I mean, you got people like Belichick, who's kind of grumpy in the press conferences.
Their game's not even over yet. We're already on to next week.
Right.
Well, it's one thing, and I can understand the players, because Brandon Marshall. We remember when he was here, and he and Jay Cutler would get into it, and he got into it with others in the locker room or whatever. And he kind of came out and told people, hey, this is what the story is going on. And the Bears didn't like that.
Right.
And so, of course, they shipped him out.
Right.
But I think it's got to be, because we joke about it in the media when we're listening to these guys talk. And I went on my rant, this season about the cliches, and, you can run the tape every week.
Yeah.
Because that's all you hear. Yeah. Is I got my boys back, or we need to play better. And it's like, wait a minute, Matt Nagy, you're the guy calling the plays.
Yeah.
You're the guy calling the plays. You're the head coach. So when you come after every game, and you come up to the podium and you address the media, and hey, we just got to play better. Well, isn't that your responsibility? Isn't that your job to diagram this and get these guys to do it? Yeah. But you said maybe he doesn't have the personnel that he wants or needs
for his style of play calling.
Okay.
For his style of play calling.
So as a head coach, and coming from the coaching tree of Andy Reid, shouldn't he be, and supposedly he's the smartest guy in the room, shouldn't he be able to, because that's what separates you from being a good coach to a great coach.
Right.
You need to be able to make the adjustments and get the best out of the players for what they're capable of doing.
Well, it's the second year.
What does that got to do with
anything? You got to give
anything?
him some time.
What do you got?
He went 12 and 4 last. 12 and, what they go? 12 and 4 last year.
Dude,
he did it last year. He found a way to overcome the the hiccups, and so now it's just a different year. Like the offenses don't take more. Like what I mean. Like just a different year for him right now.
So for you as a defensive player, you played safety in the league,
right?
And you said it's his second year.
Yeah.
So many of these defensive coordinators, he surprised them last year, right? They played a tougher schedule this year, but now they have film on them. We've talked about it on the Rewind Sports 60. As a defensive player, if you see someone on the offensive side of the ball and you know what their strengths are, but you haven't seen it before, but now you have a year under your belt and you got some tape, you're going to make an adjustment, right?
Yeah. So you don't hesitate now. You believe what you see. They put it on tape before, so you have more proof. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Versus like you think they're going to do it, but you're not sure because everything's so new. Right. But like we studied you, and this is your tendencies. Well, we're going to play to your tendencies.
Right. So shouldn't a coach be able to make the adjustment?
Yeah, I think he's trying. The season's not over. If they go 10-6 and make the playoffs, what?
Man,
what?
I thought you said.
It's 1 week at a time.
Wait a minute, man. I thought you said you wanted to be real.
I am for sure.
I thought you said you want to be real
for sure.
They got Detroit. What's that guy's name? Jeff, the quarterback for the Detroit. What's
Stafford?
No, not that guy.
He's out. So
what?
Driscoll? Driscoll's his name.
Yeah, Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah.
You said Hall of Fame earlier tonight. You said Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Bears are going to make this guy look like a Hall of Famer.
Who?
Driscoll for Detroit.
No, not the defense. He's crazy.
Watch what happens.
No way.
Well, he didn't do that badly, but not because
they lost the first game by a field goal, right?
It was 20-13. The Bears beat them.
So they beat them already.
The Bears.
Yeah,
they did.
They beat the Lions.
Why are you so high on the Lions right now?
But he actually didn't look too bad considering
he didn't
kind
look
of
bad.
last minute deal.
He didn't look bad.
Why are you so high on the Lions?
I'm not high on the Lions, but I'm low on this team.
Why?
Because they've shown that they're not capable of taking care of a 2-8 team coming in here.
They beat them. They beat the Giants today.
Marvelous. What do you think?
What you wanted to beat?
I told you what I think.
Yes.
Let's not get giddy.
Wait a minute.
Okay, what about the Bulls game last night? They won by 1 point. You win. You play to win the game. You don't play to blow the team out.
Guess Herm Edwards.
Let's go out to the phone.
Love that chat.
We got the phone. Henry calling from Wheeling. If I can get it. Henry, you there? Are you there? Paul, you may have to come in and help me out.
I love technology.
I love it too.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have a cliche for that when the phone doesn't work?
Folks, I got to
right?
tell you, I have to apologize. We are in a new studio here at WCPT 820 AM, so we're trying to get acclimated to the new studio. We're actually, and here's it. This is a reflection of the city of Chicago. We were in the North studio. And everything was fine. It was all dandy, nice, and it's pretty. Birds singing and chirping or whatever. Now we're in the South studio, and you gotta watch out for the drive-bys and everything.
Oh, we on the South side, right?
This is the South studio, yeah.
Hey, is my car gonna be safe out there?
I think so.
All right. Shit. God.
Let's go out to the phone with TRS60 hotline. Henry calling from Wheeling. Henry, what's up, man? How are you?
Gary, you know something I got to tell you. I'm with the ex-Bear player that's there. A win is a win. It doesn't make any difference if you win by 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points. It's a win in the win column. So quit dogging them out. Eddie hit all his field goals today. Even though they weren't playing a good team, it's still going to be a win in the win column.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So give them a break. All right.
Okay.
All
right.
Because if they had a loss today, because I talked to you last week, AM 1000 just dogged them out Monday, and you all dogged them out last Sunday. Give them a break, okay? They struggling. They got injuries and everything else, So a win. I'm glad they won. All right.
Henry. Henry.
How can we dog him out last Sunday? The game hadn't been played yet.
Hey, Henry. Henry, let me ask you this question.
What?
Were you over at Club Dub after the victory today?
No.
You sure? Quintin, were you at Club Dub after the win?
No, I ain't going to no Club Dub.
Hey, listen, I get it. A win is a win. I certainly get that. And nowadays, if you're a Chicago Bear fan, if you're a player, if you're a coaching staff, if you're any part of the organization, yeah, a win is a win. But it's not a one-game season.
Right.
It's not a one-game season.
Right.
And again, Henry, yeah, they got the victory. But think about this, Quintin.
Yeah,
And they're going to get the victory Thursday, too.
Marvelous. Okay, I'm coming over to the house and get some grub. Tell your beautiful wife Darwin I want some gumbo.
I
Two
tell you
plates.
what, if they win, if the Bears win, you bring me a turkey leg over here.
Yeah, hey. Well, I won't have the John Madden turkey leg with 8 turkey legs on it, but I'll bring it over if the Bears win. Okay.
Okay.
But if they don't win, I tell your beautiful wife Darwin I need some gumbo, man.
We did. You're going to have to wait for the Super Bowl for the gumbo.
Hey, Henry, thank you, brother. We appreciate it. Keep listening.
Thanks, Henry.
Talk to you. No, hey, man, I support the Bears, but you can't think about this. The Giants were on a drive.
Yeah.
Was it Cordero Patterson? Pat O'Donnell punt, and he saved it from going into the end zone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which planted
great play.
It was a fantastic play,
yeah.
and it planted the Giants deep in their own territory.
Right.
Had that ball gotten into the end zone, they have a pretty good field position, and now you're allowing the Giants, with a rookie quarterback, to potentially drive down the field and still win the football game.
Yeah. The scary thing, though, too, is even their possession before that brought them within a score. A couple 4th-down conversions, including the play that ended up being the touchdown with a 4th and 18.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is the NFL, guys.
Come on, man.
Every week it's like this across the board. It's the last drive a lot of times. Especially right now, like you got 8 weeks on tape. Like you're getting studied. Your tendencies are going to be there. Like these games are going to be tight, man. They're going to be tight. Like it's going to come down to the fourth quarter with almost every game.
No, you're absolutely right. The New Orleans Saints get a victory this afternoon. But
the
that
Jets
was
blew out the Raiders.
Yeah. That was what was it? 34-3.
Yeah, I'm glad I ain't no gambling guy.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Jeez.
Is that Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Tommy.
Hello, can you hear me?
We got you, man. Thank you for chiming in. We appreciate you. What's on your mind, buddy?
Well, let me try to run something down to you guys, because I have been watching the Bears over the years, and I love my Chicago teams. But here's just a simple narrative for people who really understand the game of football. Now, I'm going to let you guys answer this for me. What was the name of the field goal kicker for the Chicago Bears who they traded?
Robbie Gould.
Missed what?
Robbie Gould.
Okay. So now, guys, let's do a little math. Look at the games this year alone that the Bears would have won with this man who they let go simply because he missed, 1 field goal, 2 field goals in a year. Now let's do something else. So now you come up with Mitch Trubisky. The man comes out there on the field. He energizes the offense and stuff. He moves his feet. They had Jordan Howard and Cohen and some other receivers in the game. They go moments before the field goal that was missed and moving on. That's great. So now we come back next year and you got a completely decimated to hell team. Now, if that ain't frustrating, I don't know what the hell is. I mean, the facts of the matter is you got to see what you see, man. I mean, come on, Doc.
Tommy.
Third down and you can't get a half a yard?
Unbelievable. Tommy, it's unbelievable.
Hey, look, I'm drinking, man. I'm drinking. I done got so drunk that I done sobered up listening to you guys. So, I mean, hey, I'm not knocking the Bears. You can say whatever the hell you want to, but you can't make a guy a pocket guy if he likes to, if he's a runner. Let him run until he figures it out. Hell, maybe by then we'll find somebody else. But until then, all I can say is a win is not a win when you win that ugly. It's just terrible.
No,
man.
that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense, man. Put that cognac down, man. You talking about a win is not a win unless you.
No, man.
No, man. It's a win is a win.
Listen, man. I get blitzed before the game so that I don't go to pieces at the end of the game, because I've never seen a team do so well and then try to just lose the game. They never have had pass defense. Every time they put a foot down.
So what if they? So is a loss a loss? Or are you going to be like, oh wait, lost by 1, so
no,
exactly.
Man,
it's the same thing.
No.
It's the same thing.
I'm just tired of the fact of the non-reporting of the facts, which is you cannot decimate a team and then come back talking about we're going down the yellow brick road. How does that work? I think Dr. Hill said it best. I told him that this was a hand grenade. Hell, it didn't blow up.
Oh man.
Tommy, thank you, brother. We appreciate your call. I love Tommy.
Good lineup.
Thank you. And there was a public service announcement for Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, but you know what?
So can we rebrand our show as Real Talk, real sobering talk?
Sobering talk.
Yeah, we're better than
that's the thing.
We're better than an espresso after, you know.
So hey, man, and a lot of Bear fans, they're out there, and in the South parking lot. They're in is there a North parking lot? They're underneath they're tailgating.
They're in the lake.
They're tailgating, man, because they're getting their drink on. Because they go, oh man, we got to go in here and watch 60 minutes of this stuff going on, man.
Yeah, but if you really get blitzed before the game, you got to watch it twice.
But Quintin, and Quintin Demps joining us on the Rewind Sports 60 as a part of our post game analysis of the Bears the rest of the way. And Quintin, being a former NFL player, played safety with the Bears back in 2017. He said, hey, you know what? Each week, it's a new week. It's a different week. And this week, the Bears were able to get a victory. Yeah. It's a short week. They're going to play on Thanksgiving in Detroit, and so we have to focus on that. Yep. And it makes sense. We understand that. But sometimes, and that's part of our job here, is to break it down and try to get an understanding. Yeah. Because we want, as fans and media, we want the teams to succeed.
Right.
But when we don't see growth or we don't see things trending in a positive way, it lends us to question and scratch our head.
Right.
And, of course, it's a victory today.
Yeah.
But did you say it? Who said it? Did I want them to win by 50 points?
Yeah.
You know what? If you just said Matt Nagy is the offensive guru, then the guru needs to put some points on the board, more than 19 points.
I'm with you when you're right.
That's how fans feel.
Yeah.
You know, hey, a win is a win, and we're happy for that. But if you barely eke one out against one of the lowly teams in the National Football League, ranked last in defense and ranked toward the bottom, offensively with a rookie quarterback, they should blow them out. They should blow them out.
No.
They should blow them out.
You were good until the last statement.
Dude.
You were perfect to the last statement.
Man, come on, man.
There's no such thing as you should be blowing some NFL team out, man.
What are you talking about?
There's no such thing, yo.
Wait a minute.
This is grown men every week in and week out.
Well, I'm with Quintin in general, but I think it's more about the pattern of how the games go. It was another dud first half. Okay. And I think that's the issue. Okay. They kind of see the game playing out, and then they were able to eke it out.
Was it Gabe? Oakland lost 34-3 today?
Oakland's a goofy team, too.
Let me retract.
34-3.
Because it was times as a player.
That's a blowout.
Playing somebody, we felt like we should blow these guys out.
Yeah.
So you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As a player, you do feel like that sometimes.
I tell people, and my wife gives me a hard
Especially
time.
Rookie quarterbacks.
She gives me a hard time all the time. I say, I've never played at the highest level before. And she looks at me like I'm speaking, Czechoslovakian or something like that. Yeah. And she's right,
Yeah.
But you look at the schedule. We look at the schedule.
Yeah.
And everybody this year went down the schedule, and most people said, hey, 10-6, 11-5, maybe 12-4.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Sports Illustrated said 7-9, and everybody thought that they were crazy.
Yeah.
So we look at the schedule and we kind of dissect it and say, hey, we should beat this team based on the results we saw last year.
Yeah.
And injuries always plays a factor.
Yeah.
So that's where you come in with the 10-6 and the 9-7, right?
Yeah.
But no one expected this, man.
Right.
No one expected this. Any last thoughts, gentlemen, before we go to our TR60 scoreboard update? Marvelous?
Well, I was just going to say, they actually, again, the MVP for my money is Allen Robinson in this game.
Yes.
He did a great job, and the defense did pretty good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a short week. They better be ready, and we'll have more on this next week, but this badge is the real fire badge, so we'll have to talk about that.
Well,
next time.
What? I got to say congratulations to Khalil Mack. He took a lot of heat this past week. He didn't even show up in the stats last week. No hurries, no tackles, no sacks, no nothing. Well, he had recorded 3 total tackles, 2 solos, and, of course, that strip sack that put the Bears in position to help Mitchell Trubisky get that touchdown. And were you guys happy and relieved that Mitchell got into the end zone?
I was happy they scored.
Well, he's in his post-game comment said, I needed that. I wanted him to call my number. Which, again, as much as they don't want him to be a runner, and it may slow for his longevity not to be that, you want if your quarterback has no confidence, I could care less about his attributes.
Right.
Real quick before we say goodbye, Quintin Demps. overall perspective, because I think you shared some of your thoughts as far as Mitchell Trubisky was concerned at our Serenello Saturday tailgate show every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Share with our listening audience your thoughts on Mitchell Trubisky and the role he plays for the Chicago Bears.
I think just watching Mitch and having played with him 1 year, I think just him going so high has put a pedestal that he's not ready for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And his play has showed that he's not going to be that guy.
Right.
But he's still a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Really?
I think he's going to turn out to be an awesome game manager once he, learns the offense and becomes comfortable playing, under Nagy. That's what I see him as, potentially, like a solid Alex Smith guy.
Okay.
He's not definitely going to be like the, Mahomes and Watson, no matter what, but a solid starter.
Should Colin Kaepernick get a look-see?
No, I'm mad at Colin.
Did he do something to you?
No, he didn't show up to the workout.
What do you mean he showed up?
That's a whole can of worms right there. You want to go there.
Well,
he didn't show up to the workout, man.
It's the fastest hour in sports conversation, bro.
You got 25 teams that want to work you out. Go to the workout, bro.
Did you ever work out with 25 teams watching you?
No.
You would have killed for
Not
that, right?
Not even 3 years out. He's been out 3 years, man. You've been crying for this for 3 years, bro. Go to the workout.
Quintin Demps joining us, former Bears safety, 10-year veteran in the National Football League, a part of the Rewind Sports 60. Thanks to the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and, of course, the Italian Stallion, Danny Carlino. Paul, thank you for sitting in for Devin Tingle. We appreciate you, brother. Good job. TRS60 scoreboard update with Gabe Salgado. Gabe, take it away.
TRS60 Sports Update.
So, as we've talked about, the Bears will have a very short week. They'll be playing on Thanksgiving this week for the second year in a row. They'll travel to Detroit to play the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. The Lions, obviously, they lost to the Bears a couple of weeks ago. They've lost 4 in a row overall since Matthew Stafford went down with his injury, and the Bears defeated the Giants earlier today, have now won 2 of their last 3. This update is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, and I'm Gabe Salgado for the Rewind Sports 60 and WCPT 820 Chicago.
Preceding program, the Rewind Sports 60, is sponsored by Jerry Riles and, to the extent applicable, his guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.